What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Nerdwide podcast. This is episode 55. I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my favorite friend over here, Mr. Chris Rivers. Chris, how are you, and how's your week been?
Doing pretty good. It was a week.
Yeah,
Uh, a little bit of overtime. Now we've got another round of sleet and snow.
yep.
Um,
Did y'all get anything?
a little bit, yeah.
We got, it
I know.
didn't do anything all morning, and then this afternoon it snowed. We maybe have a quarter of an inch, if that.
Yeah.
So, nothing
We had
crazy here.
some rain that turned to ice overnight,
Yeah,
and then some snow. So,
fun.
how's it going with you?
It's just been a normal week. I actually didn't. I feel like I played more games this week, and it's just been
Hmm.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm almost done with the Siege of Paris, and just besides my normal Destiny stuff, but the TV shows, which were excellent. I can't wait to talk about those here in a second. Um, and then I think as far as the week goes, that's pretty much it. We haven't had a whole lot of news, but I had a lot of those things stored up over our past 3 weeks that we've hadn't got to talking about yet. But between you and I really want to talk about. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Right.
We got some fun things, and then of course the Steelers play the playoffs tonight. So it's gonna be good. I can't wait.
They're
They're gonna lose,
if they
but
w- if they win, they get the right to come to Nashville and get eliminated. So,
no. So the Bengals play them in Nashville next week. So the Steelers will play whoever wins tomorrow
Steelers
night. I think.
Steelers are the lower seed though. They would
Yeah.
play the top seed.
See, that's what there's a whole lot of things going on. We looked earlier, and like it depends what site you look at. Someone says like the Bengals are playing here, and some people say the Bengals play us, and I'm just like I don't know what's going on. It's very weird how because they added the
Uh-huh.
two new teams in this year, and so everything's
Right.
skewed. So, but anyways, people aren't here to listen to us talk about football. They're here to listen to us talk about all the new TV, movies, and video game news you all want to hear. A quick housekeeping: don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or podcasting service of your choice. Now, including Spotify.com. You can find us there if you want to go there. Of course, rate us there as well. If you enjoy the show, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a good rating for podcasting apps. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, make sure you leave us a comment. Let us know how we can improve this show. Of course, if you always want to go that extra little bit, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide and give us a couple dollars for a couple different tiers. That way, if you so incline and want to do so. But Chris, let's get right into our TV stuff because we want to talk about the new show from James Gunn and DC, Peacemaker. We watched episodes 1 through 3. Of course, this is full spoilers for full on here. And I don't know about you, I was not expecting a whole lot, but I am really enjoying this show. It's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the amount of wackiness I feel like we needed. I mean, if you enjoyed Suicide Squad, you're going to enjoy this show, in my opinion. And definitely don't watch around children.
No,
A
no.
couple of nudity scenes for both scenes, for both genders. But man, bloody galore, and I absolutely love it as a comic book movie. And John Cena is so funny to watch on TV,
Yeah.
and he's just perfect. I love it.
Well, you definitely get to see a lot of him in
Mm-hmm.
this. Uh,
Oh yeah.
uh, but yeah, I like that Robert Patrick is in there as Augie,
Mm-hmm.
his father. Um,
Plays a great white supremacist.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I've already seen people online asking, what who he really is.
Right. What do they
Because
call
there's
him? The
always this
the white dragon in the third episode.
white dragon. Yeah.
What a name.
Uh, but yeah, we get to see that his father, although his father doesn't really like him,
Right.
um, but he's also, to look at his house and so forth and his age, you would think he doesn't know a whole lot about tech.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go in this closet and it just expands as far as you can
Yeah,
see,
like where did
and
that come from? Like they
I don't
did
know.
they didn't go down, but like they went
No,
in and it just like exploded. But like when you see the shots from the house, it's like there's no way that fits anywhere. So,
yeah,
you know.
and he's designed all these helmets that do different things.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had one that he's what did he say it gave you scurvy or something like
Yeah.
that?
It's good.
And he's like, why would I want that? And he said, oh, for the challenge, you know.
There's X-ray vision, the sonic boom one we saw in action,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
really cool and devastating to everything around it.
yeah.
I
That
think,
poor
yeah,
police officer. She's like, I think this is pizza.
yeah. He said, "No, that's a face." That was so good. Dude, there's so many like the line deliveries in the show, and we were talking about before we started recording. Harcourt, who apparently Jennifer Holland is James Gunn's girlfriend. Didn't know
Uh-huh.
that. Thanks for that little tidbit. I mean, I think her and Eagly are my favorite on the show so far.
Eagly.
Eagly, like we saw it in the trailer, but the hug in the garage is still so funny to me. When
Yeah,
he goes,
yeah.
Dad, look, he's giving me a hug. This is so majestic. It's so dumb. I love it.
Take, he's like, take a picture. I don't want to move.
Right? I don't want to move over the moment. Oh man, I'm excited. There's so the villains are the butterflies, and what
Uh-huh.
cracks me up, the first episode they start talking about it, Peacemaker was like, the butterflies. This isn't like Project Starfish, where it was actually a walking starfish, and no one would answer him at all. And then at the end of episode 3, it's actual butterflies. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, what a
Yeah.
James Gunn knows what he's doing, man, and it's so good.
Well, and we got Viola Davis
Yep,
appeared in the first episode,
nice little
and we
cameo.
yeah, and she's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And we found out that remind me, I'm drawing a blank. The character that is her daughter.
Leota
Uh,
Adeboya.
is that the character name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Danielle Brooks is the actress.
Um, that's her. It's her daughter, and she's spying on the team for her.
Yeah, she's
Um,
she's spying on them and working. Well, she's more so spying on Peacemaker,
yeah.
and it looks like she's trying to frame him too because she's supposed to place a movie in his house,
Uh-huh.
or it's
A
his
diary.
diary. Yeah, and
A
I'm like,
diary.
I mean, she obviously likes him the most too.
Yeah.
Treats him more as a human than anybody else, especially Diebeard. You know, but
I've always had different color hair.
right, I don't dye my beard, man. It's just, I mean, it was good. I mean, the first episode ended with the sex scene that turned into a fight scene that was really well done, very well choreographed. Um, Second episode was your kind of lull between the three, if you will, and then the third episode picked up a lot with the shooting, the butterflies, the torture,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I love John Cena in this. I did not think I would enjoy this show as much as I do.
It's got to help with the wrestling background because in a
Right.
lot of those fight scenes where you can tell it's him taking the bump.
Hmm.
He's so that's gotta help. Um, I we say this with the MCU shows. I didn't think I'd be saying it so much about a DC show like this.
The first DC TV show.
I'm I'm disappointed it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, because I mean we're
We're
almost halfway now.
yeah, they've dropped 3 episodes and it's only 8. So now
we
we get one a week for the next 5 weeks.
mm. And it doesn't lead into anything either because James Gunn's not doing any other projects for DC
Yeah.
right now, which is I'm sure he will. Like once, because I mean DC and Warner Brothers is gonna be looking like, hey, this is making us a lot of money and a lot of attention. What do we need to bring you back? Because I mean he's filming Guardians. He's filming Guardians right now, so I don't. I
Well,
mean he even took time to last Thursday night, to do a Twitter watch along with Brandon Davis from
mhm.
comicbook.com. And I found out a lot of stuff about the show and where they wanted to go with it. And he said it wouldn't have been possible. John Cena didn't want to do it, and he says we wouldn't have done it. And I mean, that's not even talking about the intro. The intro scene is not one
Oh,
that
the
you
int-
skip. It's so good. It's so
I
weird, but
tried
so
to
good.
I tried to skip initially, not knowing what it was going to be.
Yeah.
I hit skip as soon as the option popped up, and it froze trying to load into the episode, and then
Right.
it was just like, "No, I'm playing the intro anyway." And I was like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah.
just see what this is in." Um, I wonder. course, we have no idea how they're going to end this,
Right.
but I wonder if we get a season 2 of Peacemaker,
I would be 100% okay with it, and just change the
or
cast up.
do they give us something else to
Mm,
to do with one of the other characters, or to kind of flesh out that universe. But
yeah.
see, then again, they don't really do stuff like that in DC.
They don't make the smart decisions, do they?
No.
Oh man, I can't wait. Like next week's gonna be fun. This is gonna be one of those shows that I'm glad we're reviewing and talking about because it is fun, and I just can't wait to see where it goes next with the butterflies, and especially his dad now because he has an older brother. I want to know what's up with him. We haven't heard or
Right.
seen anything about him, and I'm like, he can't be as messed up. Oh, Vigilante, we didn't even talk about. Just some fanboy sidekick who shoots really well as well, and he's
Yeah.
funny. I liked him a lot. He's really concerned about his secret identity and
He
his
needs to
suit's
be more
nice.
concerned about that toe.
Yeah, he said you didn't sharpen your torture tools. He said, man, you didn't keep up with your torture tools. That's just lousy, or something. That was just so good.
Oh, and
Oh.
that toe looked bad
Yeah,
too.
it looked nasty. The way they were cutting it
Yeah.
off too, you could hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, all right. Next week we'll have episode 4, which looks like it's gonna be titled "The Chode Less Traveled."
All right.
I just whatever. Oh, but Chris, here's the one I'm really excited to talk about, and that is Superman and Lois is back. Season 2, Chris, I'm going to say it. We were very critical on season 1 last season. Last time it was on, last year. It's crazy to say. But this episode brought me 100% back in. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they had the time or they were just figuring out their bearings. But this episode was so much fun to watch. And like I was interested and invested the whole way through, even with the Lanes. And like the Lanes, I don't know. I don't remember the last names anymore. But the second I saw Ian Bowen back on screen with Tyler Hoechlin, I was like, yeah, we're home. I love it. I just can't wait. Oh, this season's gonna be fun.
So I really liked the episode, right? You got something going on with Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, the easy answer is she hooked up with another
Yeah,
counselor.
love interest at the camp.
And yeah, you've got. By the way, where did Jonathan's new girl come from?
They said it was new.
Huh?
He said it was new.
Right, but you would
Yeah.
think that they would have.
Oh, we had that girl from the last season.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I didn't even realize that either until you just said something.
They just
Oh,
dropped her. It's
yeah.
like, oh, okay. The one I loved the episode. I liked it that we got to see a little bit of the job search
Mm-hmm.
for the paper and all that. Just giving us these little bitty bits to kind of bring back to moments of last season. One thing that it looks like it's going to continue to be a problem with this show is so you have Anderson putting this super team together.
And using his crest.
Yeah, and using the crest. He's insisting that Superman be for the United States only.
I love that they're bringing that
Um,
into it.
I do, but again, there's no mention at any point of Kara.
Yes.
And
So,
it's like,
especially with the events of Supergirl season 6 that happened last year, I mean the final season.
hmm
Like there was a lot of big things that happened that
hmm
I'm like, well, why wasn't Superman involved? I know it was the pandemic. I know CW's already said, and a lot of the directors said they couldn't do any crossovers because in Vancouver, Canada has stricter COVID policies than we do here, and they said
right.
there was a lot of things we could not do. Now
But
there
you can
was
mention people.
yeah, it's. But I did read from showrunner Todd Helbing. He did a bunch of interviews this week, and I was reading a lot of things that he did. I know he did one with like Den of Geek, which I use a lot of our recaps for sometimes. That there are other Arrowverse crossovers this season. He said, "I'm not telling you who. I'm not telling you what." He says, "But there are. So we're going to see other heroes cross over in." Now I don't know if that's going to be David Ramsey back as Diggle, but I imagine Batwoman will be a thing as well.
Hmm.
So it's just there's that, and because he even brought up the COVID restrictions as well in some of these interviews, because last year he says we had to turn around a lot of our recording to post real fast, like because of COVID, if we wanted to get it in a timely manner. Um, and that's what I think a lot of my issues came from as well, because it just didn't feel good. Like this episode felt good to me. Like this is what I want Superman and Lois to be, and I felt like the storylines were great. The CGI was phenomenal. The him in the rain above the Korean Sea, with just pouring down rain, and him freaking out and everything looks so good. And I mean, I love Tyler Hoechlin, and if I didn't love Henry Cavill so much, I would say this is my Superman. Which I mean, it might as well be because Henry Cavill's not coming back, but
Right.
I'm really interested in Lieutenant Anderson. I'm excited to see where we go from here with him. Obviously, he's training up a school of supers, and I imagine there's a bunch of metahumans. Um, and he's making his own task force in America's interest. I really do enjoy the storyline of, I want you to be America's hero and only America's hero. But he's
Hmm.
like, Superman said, I pledged to the world a long time ago. And he goes, and I'm not changing that. And he even
Right.
turned in the little, Anderson turned in the communicator to Superman, the ELD, I think is what it's called. And he said, well, until you can put America first, we don't need you. And I'm like, is that right? Okay. And he even talked about the Steel, I think it's just Steel is what we're calling him. Um, and he said no, he's retired. He has nothing to do with this anymore. And of course, we see them. I'm so excited they're going to be living on the Kent farm. I really like this
Hmm.
Natalie character and what they're doing with her. And I think we're going to see a lot of shakeups. But the biggest thing I want out of this season is Jonathan to get powers. That is the biggest thing
Yeah.
that I'm hoping for. I don't know if it will happen because they're going to get picked up for another season. But this is what I'm really wanting from
I felt so bad, so bad for Jonathan um, when the earthquake,
it.
the
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote earthquake starts, and Clark and Jordan
So well
immediately
done.
hear it, and he's just like, "What?
He said, "What happened?" Dude,
What?"
that was great though. Like it was so well directed and acted because both of them turned their heads at the same time towards the sound, and it was
Yeah.
so cool. Did you notice though they were playing Forza Horizon 5 when that
No.
scene? That was cool. I thought it was a nice little touch.
I also liked when Clark leaves Jonathan and what was the girl's? It wasn't
Candace.
Cheyenne, was it? Candace.
Mm-hmm.
When he leaves the two of them at the farm, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna walk down the road," and Jonathan immediately knows, like, okay, something's up,
Yeah.
you know. That little flash across his face, like, oh, Dad's going to work, you know. That was perfect. I just, you brought up Anderson and the whole, well, we don't need you anymore thing, but yet he was trying to get him to bring Steel on, and
Right.
again, I looked at it and I was like, that would have been a perfect time. Well, if you would bring, the other guy or your cousin, like even just
Or
that
they
line,
didn't even mention the DOD. I mean,
no,
and I'm just like, or the DEO, excuse me.
the
And I'm
DEO,
like,
yeah,
that's something that I would feel like be perfect to just even in line to mention them. That they're still around. I'm
yeah.
just like, I don't, whatever. I guess I don't.
It 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 just doesn't make sense that they're not even. I understand if you can't get the people there to film it,
Right.
uh, but you can mention it,
Yeah.
and I
Mentioning it's not going to cost you anything. They're
no,
still put the
and
line in.
I feel like we beat that nail with a hammer a million times, but that's the difference between DC and Marvel.
Hmm.
Marvel would drop those little verbal Easter eggs,
Yeah, like they did in
and
Hawkeye. I mean, you had the Ant
yeah,
Man logos. You even talked about them a little bit. And
yeah, like oh, I'll have to check with Scott
right, is how to fix this.
on
Yeah,
that.
and it's um, going back to your Tegan. So Tegan was the girlfriend from last season.
Hmm.
Helbing was asked that in the interview. And he says, "You know how teenagers are. You date someone for a month and then it's over. In those 3 months, he and Tegan broke up, and now he's starting to date this new girl, Candace." So I was like, that's. Like I was sitting there scrolling through this. I'm on TVLine.com's article about the episode, and I
Yeah.
thought that was funny that you brought that up as well. Next week's episode is directed by David Ramsey. Helbing says he will not stay behind the camera for long. He says we will see him again as John Diggle in the future. Now, I don't know if that's the new story that I've got coming up or if that's about this. So,
Well, then that would indicate that what he mentioned about future crossovers is not related to Diggle showing up.
right. So, it's exciting. I mean, we've got a lot. I have high hopes for this show again. I feel like when we watched the first two episodes last year when they came on, I feel like this again. I hope they
So
hold the momentum, but we will see.
one thing we need to touch on real quick is the last shot of the episode.
Doomsday,
What are we seeing there?
Doomsday.
You think it's Doomsday?
That's who my thought is. He did have an interview, and like it says right here, um, it says, speaking of that earthquake, the final moments of the episode took us back down into the mines where we caught a glimpse of what was really responsible for those tremors. But all Hellbing will say of that giant hand is, quote, I'm assuming a lot of people will know what that is. In episode 2, you'll see a little bit more, and in episode 3, you'll find out exactly what it is, end quote. So I'm thinking Doomsday.
Maybe that's the crossover. It's Ultron.
It's Ultron. It's going to be someone that Kara put in the ground. It's come full circle somehow. Oh man, I'm just glad Superman's back. I mean, I love Superman and Lois. Even the Lois, which we haven't really talked about this episode, is her emotional damage, emotional conflict, really, from seeing Natalie. And she's like, I felt nothing, and if I was Clark, I would have been. What are you supposed to feel?
Yeah.
She's not anything to you.
No.
Um, but she was more so like, she was my daughter in another multiverse, and I feel like I would feel something. But I'm glad that they have a relationship, and I'm glad they didn't drag that storyline out. And they met up this episode, and they're going to be hanging around. I can see problems coming from it down the line, but I am curious to see what they do with it. I feel like they handled it well, and man, I love it. I can't wait. Superman and Lois is back, and next week's episode is directed by Diggle himself again. So we're gonna have some fun. Now, did you watch? I'm taking the Superman spoilers off. Did you watch Naomi at all? I know I talked about it a little bit last week.
No, I didn't.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I will not be watching any
Uh-oh.
more of it. It might be one of my first CW shows of the few that I am not going to be picking back up. It was not, to me, it was not good. No, the acting was good. I mean, the acting was all right. The storyline, piss poor. Like, it was like Nancy Drew meets up with bits and pieces of Superman, bits and pieces of Riverdale, which sounds
Mm,
great, but it was not good, man. It was not good at all.
yeah.
And like the big revelation at the end was not good either. I just like I have no inkling just to want to pick this back up again. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste my time with it anymore, unfortunately. So
Well, hey, at least you found out in the first episode.
yeah, it could have drugged me along, and I usually give shows the 2 to 3 episodes to see if I like it or not. I can already tell you I will not be liking this. So let's get into our news. We've got 7 news stories today, some of which are just little, hey, this is what's happening kind of news. But the first one I'm really excited about, and it relates to Superman and Lois. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actress Elizabeth Henstridge will direct an episode of Superman and Lois for season 2. I'm going to comicbook.com by Nicole Drum. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. star Elizabeth Henstridge is crossing over to the DC side of things. On Instagram, Henstridge shared a behind-the-scenes photo revealing she is directing an episode of the CW Superman and Lois second season. In the photo, Henstridge is featured with a clapperboard from the episode naming her as director, noting in her caption that's from the first shot and that she can't really say much about it at all, but promised that would be a big episode. What do you think, Chris?
Gonna be fun. Yeah. I mean,
I'm just glad to see her back. doing things.
Yeah, I wish it was over with Marvel. I wish Shield was actually still considered canon,
Hmm.
and she was somehow involved with. I think whatever's going on, considering how Agents of Shield played out, whatever's going on with the Eternals would be a perfect place to
Yeah.
bring some of that back in. But if this is the new direction she's headed, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, do we see her step in front of the camera at all? Do you think that would ever happen?
Good.
I could see it. She'd be a scientist
I
again.
mean, or a new reporter for the paper.
Oh, don't give me that hope. I would love for her to be a series regular. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Or any of these CW shows. I feel like she fits in on any of them, really. She could fit in on.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
next one
She'd
I've
be a
got.
teacher at the
Oh,
school too.
don't, Chris, listen. Don't give me. She'd be a perfect teacher. Especially. Oh, yeah. Anyways. Number 2, The Boys, of course, we know is coming back for season 3. But they've officially announced they'll be back on June 3rd. We've got 3 episodes June 3rd. Episodes 1, 2, and 3. June 10th will be episode 4. June 17th is episode 5. June 24th is episode 6, titled Herogasm. July 1st is 307. And then July 8th will be the finale. So we've just what was that, 6 weeks of The Boys? But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm ready for that show to come back. Now, number 3, The Witcher Season 2 joins Netflix's most viewed TV show of all time. I'm going to Variety.com by Monica Marie Zorilla. Netflix audiences have been very busy tossing coins to The Witcher and its shows. The second season of the fantasy epic, which blends the genres of horror, action, romance, drama, and occasionally comedy, has joined the streamer's most viewed TV shows of all time, amassing 462.5 million hours of view time. Season 2, starring Henry Cavill as the titular monster hunter, Freya Allen, Anya Shalar-Tra, and Joey Beatty, is now on Netflix's top 10 alongside its inaugural season, which garnered 541.010 million hours of viewership during its first 28 days of the streamer. At the top of Netflix's most popular English language TV shows of all time, totem poll includes Stranger Things Season 2 and 3, You Seasons 2 and 3, 13 Reasons Why Seasons 1 and 2, and the limited series Made. The steamy period dramas Bridgerton has also swooned enough subscribers to land at number 1 with 625.490 million hours watched the first 28 days. That's awesome. And good for The Witcher. That just means we're getting more, and that's all I care about. I just need some more Henry Cavill in my life. Number 4, Murderville is a new TV show coming to Netflix. I don't know about you, Chris, but this is going to be right up our alley, I feel like. So did I send you this picture of this one? Or did
No.
I think I only sent this to Jamie. So Netflix put out on the 13th this week, Welcome to Murderville, a new series starring Will Arnett as a detective who is in every episode, has to solve a murder with a new celebrity guest star as a partner. Chris, there's a catch to this. The guest star is never given a script, so they have to improvise their way through the whole episode.
Oh, that's going to be great.
So I'm showing you on screen, Chris, here. Kumal is one of them. He'll be one of the ones.
Yeah.
And then this one I'm really excited about. Ken Jeong.
Oh yeah.
Ken Jeong's going to be on there.
You know who would have been really good for that? Just some of the one-liners. If she was still with us, is Betty White.
Oh, she would have loved it too, man. Oh, rest
That
in
would have
peace,
been
that
hilarious.
sweet lady. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that show because that is a genius way to do things, especially with your comedy actors and actresses. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm very curious to watch it, and I can't wait. And I hope that's something we get many more seasons of.
Yeah.
Number 5 pertains to our good shows here. David Ramsey to star in a new Arrowverse series called Justice You. I'm going back to Variety.com by Joe Otterson. David Ramsey could soon be starring in his own John Diggle standalone series at the CW. Variety has learned that Ramsey is attached to star in the drama series Justice You that is currently in development at the broadcaster. Sidebar, I don't like that name.
Justice You.
Yeah, it just does not sound good to me. But
Yeah.
going back to the article here. After spending years fighting alongside masked heroes, Diggle embarks on a new mission to recruit 5 young metahumans to live undercover as a freshman at a prestigious university. There, he will oversee their education and train them to become the heroes of tomorrow. The show is based on characters from the DC Pantheon. In addition to starring Roald Ramsey is attached to direct the potential pilot of the series, he is also assigned an overall directing deal with Berlanti Productions. They'll see him direct multiple episodes of multiple series across the Arrowverse. So, what do you think?
I think it'll be good. I'm like you. I'm not sold on the name.
Yeah,
Um,
I like the concept though. Name, not so much.
no, I wonder how they'll loop it into some of the other shows. Like, what will it be? I wonder if it'll be something similar to Heroes,
Mm,
what it was with people figuring out what they can do and developing their
yeah,
abilities, and then will they then send those characters out to some of the other shows to,
Legends to help out, Flash to help
yeah.
out. Oh, Chris, that'd be great. Like they get recruited like they're doing football and stuff. That would be fun.
Uh-huh.
I like that concept. Um, Next news story here: the Moon Knight trailer will premiere during the Wild Card game Monday night. You can catch it online. They showed a little teaser, and his suit looks banging. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see the full trailer, which of course we'll get that tomorrow night or tonight as of when I post this. But man, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited about Moon Knight, and that's should be that show. I think it should be the soonest show we get. Right? We've got Multiverse of
Um,
Madness in May now. So I mean,
Actually, let me. Um, there was a news item
ooh,
I want to see if I can pull up here that was it was the slate. It said that we were going to get, I think, 4 Disney Plus Marvel shows this summer.
oh, the summer.
Um,
Hmm.
and now I cannot find it.
Because we've got Moon
Where
Knight,
is
we'll have She-Hulk, Miss Marvel this year. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, we're in an MCU drought right now, especially
Yeah.
with the first news item we've got here for movies, and or even loosely related. But I don't because they pushed everything back because of Omicron variant. So, mm, 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 mm. I'm just ready for more.
Yeah, it's I miss it already.
I want to go watch No Way Home again, but I really need that to come to my house sooner rather than later. Um, I've got an interesting news story. If you find it, Chris, let me know. But our
Okay.
last news story for TV, I have been so excited about, and even Chris, you sent this one to me to make sure I didn't miss this news. Probably the biggest news this week I've got here. Tim Allen will reprise his role as Scott Calvin in the new Disney Plus sequel series. I'm going back to Deadline.com by Nelly and Driva for this one. Tim Allen is returning to Disney and to the North Pole. The actor comedian is set to star in and executive produce the Santa Claus Working Title, a Disney Plus original limited series in which he'll reprise his role as Scott Calvin from the Walt Disney Pictures holiday franchise. Allen is reuniting with Jack Burdett, the creator of Allen's hit sitcom Last Man Standing, who will serve as executive producer and showrunner on the Santa Claus. Last Man Standing writer executive producer Kevin Hinch will executive produce. That no one really cares. In Disney branded television's A Santa Claus series produced by 20th Television, Scott Calvin is on the brink of his 65th birthday and realizes that he cannot be Santa forever. He's starting to lose a step in his Santa duties, and more importantly, he's got a family who could benefit from a life in the normal world, especially his 2 kids who have grown up at the North Pole. With a lot of elves, children, and family to please, Scott sets out to find a suitable replacement Santa while preparing his family for a new adventure in a life south of the pole. Production is set to begin in March in Los Angeles. I'm all in.
Be interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
all in. I feel like with it being shot and recorded in March, getting started, we should have that by Christmas. If you ask me.
All right, I found it.
What you got?
This is from Comic Book, um, and Adam Barnhart. It says official Marvel site may confirm 4 Disney Plus shows in summer 22. Um, and it comes from the official website for Marvel Studios Japan.
Mm.
It's saying 3 shows could release between Multiverse of Madness on May 4th when it opens in Japan, and Thor Love and Thunder currently set for a July release date. She-Hulk, I Am Groot, and What If Season 2 are all listed between those two. And then Miss Marvel is listed after Thor Love and Thunder.
I forgot. I thought I Am Groot was a Christmas show. Oh, I'm thinking of the special. Yeah, I Am Groot. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's
So it
that's
looks like
2022 is what it's slated for release. Hmm.
so it looks like those could be
Hmm.
the next ones we get.
And that's all.
Maybe that
I forget Thor: Love and Thunder's coming out, and we still don't have a trailer for it.
maybe they're saving Moon Knight towards fall.
Maybe, but if we're already getting a trailer though, and we don't have a trailer for
Yeah,
anything else, I don't know. Yeah, listen, I trust Kevin Feige. He knows what he's doing.
yeah,
So
they got it covered. They got it covered.
releases this week. We've got quite a bit. Tuesday, January 18th, the new show How I Met Your Father comes on Hulu. Wednesday, January 19th, Too Hot to Handle. The new season comes out on Netflix. That's for my trash reality TV fans out there. Wednesday, January 19th as well. Assembled, The Making of Hawkeye drops on Disney+. Friday, January 21st, the new season of Ozark launches. And also Friday, January 21st, Pokemon Master Journeys, the series part 2 comes out on Netflix as well. And that is all I have for TV, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, take her away.
Where am I taking her?
Wherever, really, just a nice date if you'd like.
Okay.
Somewhere nice.
Um, so we're jumping into movies. I know that we typically have a review here, but we sort of substituted the Peacemaker
Yeah.
episodes because there were 3 of them. So have you watched anything else?
I did not. I didn't even watch our shows until today on recording. I watched one episode of Peacemaker last night. Oh, no. I watched Eternals last night.
Yeah.
Watched it for the second time, much better with subtitles, which is most things for me at this point. It was the girls' first time watching it. They have the same thought that I do. It's an okay movie, not the best, but not the worst. But it does set up a lot of the future for the MCU. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch anything else. Like I said, I had overtime this week, so it was kind of eh.
Yeah,
Um, Next week we're going to be reviewing the Netflix film Kate, which should be really interesting.
I'm excited about that one.
That
I'm just
was
excited
that
to be
was on
back to our
our
normal stuff. You know.
yeah, that was on our notes app. So
Yep.
when you messaged me and you were like, "Hey, do we
I
have
didn't even think
something?"
about it.
I was like, "Let me see what's on there."
Yeah.
Um, First bit of news, Morbius has been pushed back again.
Mm-hmm.
Let me actually pull up your tweet.
Because
It's going to be pushed.
again, I was
It's
really
going.
excited to see it again. So
It's going
here
to
we
be
are.
pushed back from to April 1st, 2022. And let's see, fandom at Get Fandom on Twitter put this out. Morbius has chewed through 7 release
That's
dates. It
crazy.
it originally was supposed to come out July the 10th, 2020. It was then pushed back to July 31st of the same year, then to March 19th of 21, then to October the 8th of 21, then to January 21st of 2022, then to January 28th of 2022, and now to April 1st, 2022. They're going to have to rename this thing Halo if they keep pushing it back.
Listen, Halo.
Uh,
I'm glad they did it. All right, that game came out almost perfect.
um, yeah, this should be the last one, I would think, that
Yeah,
gets pushed back.
I don't think Omicron's
Um,
gonna last that long.
Although April 1st, it's April Fool's Day,
It's the
so
perfect day
they
to do
could,
it.
yeah, they could push it back and be like, gotcha.
Right.
Um, Eighth time's a charm. All right, so from Deadline.com, this is a nice little bit because we're both fans of this.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Fleming Jr. has the byline here. Netflix is plotting Red Notice back-to-back sequel shoot. Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, and Rawson Marshall Thurber are expected back. Um, so what they're what they're basically saying here, they're hoping to begin production in early 2023. They'll shoot those two sequels back to back, um, which I think I'm really surprised when they do something like this or when they plan multiple sequels that they don't just go ahead and do this.
Right.
You've already got everybody there. You don't have to, and then with what we've gone through lately, if everybody gets sequestered together,
Mm-hmm.
you can still work on stuff.
Right.
So, but I'm looking forward to this. The first one was so good. I just don't know how they're going to follow it up.
Well, I was reading that they are going to. There's talks, rather, of doing like the Expendables kind of thing and bringing in multiple new celebrities each episode, each movie, and kind of
Hmm.
changing things up. But the core three will stay the same, and then like have some other people, either I guess be the villains or the cops or something somehow, and kind of do it that way. I've heard it speculated for that, so which I'm for. I mean, you've already
Yeah,
got a great core of cast. Why not bring in some more just to mess around and play some? So
yeah, yeah. I
Fast and
think that'll
Furious
be.
style.
Yeah, those movies won't go anywhere.
Right.
Uh, did you see the little bit of a dust up, by the way? This is not in our notes, but it happened a while back. Vin Diesel apparently was told by Dwayne Johnson, "Look, man, best of luck with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not interested."
Yeah. It's
And
it's it's
then
been a whole story, like a whole multi-year story at this point.
yeah, and then Vin Diesel throws him out there publicly,
To the
and
about his kids.
yeah,
Yeah, he says, Uncle Dwayne and stuff like that. And The Rock came back and said, nope, because I'm not going to be in any more of those movies. He says just it's just a bad environment. He didn't really like Vin Diesel's way of on the set and stuff like that, the way he did things. Because The Rock is
mhm,
obviously very regimented and you be here at this time, stuff like that. And apparently, Vin Diesel and other members just would show up when they wanted to. And The Rock is like, no, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here at my set time and stuff like that and ready to go.
yeah,
Which is, I feel like, how it should always be. But,
yeah. Final bit of news: Aquaman 2 has wrapped filming and is set for theaters on December the 16th, 2022.
that's definitely not getting delayed, by the way. I'm excited.
So, I mean, I guess the advantage Aquaman 2 has, for instance, is it's not tied to anything else anymore.
Mm-mm.
So you can just kind of go
Just do whatever you want to do.
whenever. Yeah.
So,
Um, no releases this week. Kind of a dead period.
mm-hmm.
Um,
TV shows are
and
starting to start
Tyler,
back up. And
yeah. So over to you for gaming.
now I know you played anything or anything more of this week? I know you've been doing overtime, but
I
anything
have
crazy?
been, yeah, and it kind of got so the other night. What I'll usually do is I'll start in logging into Madden first,
Yeah.
just to knock that stuff out. Um, and I opened up Madden and got the notification. Oh, there's an update, a title update. So I was like, well, crap. What am I gonna play? I'm logged in on the PS5, so I'm looking for something else to play on the PS5. While that download happens, and I'm like, well, I'll log into Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
So I open up Assassin's Creed, and oh, there's an update.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well,
A lot of big
wonderful.
updates.
So I was like, well, what else? And I had I had added on the PS5 the bundle
Mm-hmm.
that was the remastered Marvel Spider-Man and the Miles
Oh,
Morales game, right?
that's
So I
so
jumped
good.
back in on Marvel Spider-Man
Yeah.
and started playing it and played it until I got the notification that, so I didn't get very far, but I did start that back up too.
That's a game I want to jump back into. I know in December, Spider-Man Miles Morales was one of the most downloaded games in December, and it's a year old at this point.
It was
Um,
probably that bundle,
yeah, that's a good.
honestly.
How cheap was the bundle? Was it relatively good price?
I want to say it was something like might have been like 40 or 50,
It's not bad for as
and
big as
it
it
was
comes with all the DLCs and stuff too, right?
yeah,
Oh,
and you got the remastered for the PS5
yeah.
of the original Spider. So yeah,
Oh, What a
I
game.
think it was somewhere in there.
That's a that's a fun one. I love. I fell in love with that game. Um, I started Psychonauts 2. I know I've been starting and not completing games lately, but I started Psychonauts 2. That's a fun one. Blast from the past. I'm really excited to delve more into it. Destiny I've played, and then Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Been playing Siege of Paris, like I said earlier at the top of the show. Almost done with it. I'm about to do the actual Siege of Paris, so I feel like I am almost done with it. Had a lot of story content. I'm really loving it. I can't wait for more DLC for it. But don't have any video game news really to talk about. I know PlayStation is ramping up PlayStation 4 development. I,
Right.
uh, you know, why? You got the PlayStation 5s that you need to ramp up production on, really. Um, which, in the other vein, Xbox said this week that they are discontinuing making Xbox Ones and One S's, which, for obvious reasons, because you got two different
Yeah.
new things on the market that need to be bought that you can find more available than the PlayStation 5 at this point. So, thought that was interesting. But other than that, there's no big news this week. But we do have notable new releases, which Rainbow Six Extraction comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One on January 20th, and Xbox Game Pass, which is where I will be playing it. Did not plan to play it, but you're going to put it on Game Pass? Yeah, I'll delve into it. So maybe next week
Yep.
I'll have it played and we kind of go from there. Um, but I mean, that's it for the show. Our first official show back of 2022 of actual our normal rigmarole, and we're back on Spotify. We're on Spotify now. I've got every time I upload the podcast, it automatically pushes a notification to Facebook and Twitter. So if you're following us on there, you'll get notified every time the episodes go live. But yeah, guys, thank you all for listening for this week's episode of the Nerdwide Podcast, episode 55. Don't forget to share on all your favorite social media platforms, and forget to rate and review us on whatever podcasting app you are using. On social media, you can follow Nerdwide on Twitter at nerd_wide. You can follow me at Ty_Haynes. And you can follow Chris at MavTN7. If you're on the Facebook side of things, you always go to Facebook and search in nerdwide.com, and you will find us there. Again, all the notifications will pop on there for whenever we post an episode of the podcast. But guys, that has been this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and we cannot wait to talk to you next week, especially about Peacemaker and Superman and Lois.
Later, guys.